Sometimes when we get anxious, we can feel like we're going to faint. It's a fairly common anxiety to have, the fear of fainting or asthenophobia, especially when we're having panic attacks. We might worry we're going to faint in public and embarrass ourselves, or faint while driving and crash the car. This kind of anxiety can easily lead to agoraphobia and keep us from doing the activities and outings we want to do. Now, I know what you really want to know is, can anxiety cause me to faint? Short answer, no. The vast majority of you will feel like you're going to, but it's just another nasty trick by the brain. Accidentally, of course. Let me explain how it all works. So, fainting or passing out happens when there's not enough blood going to the brain for it to keep us conscious. This is typically due to blood pressure dropping too low to push the blood against gravity up into your brain. When we get anxious and release adrenaline, we constrict our blood capillaries and increase blood pressure. The fight or flight response is for taking strong physical action, which you want plenty of blood flow for. So this makes it very difficult to faint. It's actually faint protective. Now, there is a small caveat for this. A very small portion of the population get vasovagal syncopes, which cause us to faint. People with this medical quirk have blood pressure and heart rate spike up and then shoot down. Generally, this will be in response to being stabbed or watching someone bleed out. Now, this can be a purposeful medical stabbing like blood tests, getting overheated or dehydrated, or straining on the toilet. It can also happen in response to extreme stress, so it could happen in response to anxiety or a panic attack. However, it's quite rare. I've fainted in response to all of those other reasons, but never due to straight anxiety. I haven't had it happen with any clients either. The reason the body can do this for a select few individuals is to protect us. If you've been stabbed, you'll bleed out slower if your blood pressure and heart rate drop right down. But this lovely function is only available to a few of us special ones. You'll know if you have this too. You'll have fainted before, multiple times, and you'll have a family history of it. It's possible to have both a vasovagal condition and fear of fainting, and you can still sort out the anxiety problem. And for most of you watching, you're not fainters and you're never going to faint, but it feels like you're going to. Let me explain. The blood in your body is redistributed to your muscles during fight or flight for obvious reasons. This is why your hands might feel cold or tingly. It's due to the blood being moved away from your hands and feet and into your muscles. Now, it isn't just the muscles in your body. This also happens in your brain. When there's a threat, you want to be able to move fast and see and hear really well. These areas get prioritized in the brain, and so, like with your hands and feet, another area of your brain must lose blood. The area that misses out is your extra for experts area, your frontal lobe. The blood whooshing back from the front causes this fainting-like feeling that's likely been triggering your fears. The front part of your brain is lacking in blood flow, which feels awfully reminiscent of the whole brain not having enough blood to sustain consciousness thing. So then we worry that we're going to faint. You won't, you'll just temporarily lose your ability to calm yourself down with rational frontal lobe thoughts. There's still plenty of blood left in the brain overall. Unfortunately, your brain in that moment is not going to believe this and will start running catastrophic scenarios like seeing you fainting and crashing, or fainting while giving a presentation and having people crowd around and embarrass you. This will trigger the release of more adrenaline, causing an intensification of your symptoms, making you more worried. If you get lightheadedness or dizziness along with this, that's because of your breathing rate increasing to get you ready for running away. The overoxygenation leads to these symptoms as your blood vessels stockpile oxygen for the sprint away from danger that's never coming. All in all, not a fun time if you fear these kinds of symptoms. This is known as a panic cycle, and you don't have to have panic attacks to get caught up in it. I know I didn't. So, what can be done? Treatment is very doable. I help people through this one all the time. You want to reduce your adrenal baseline, so the intensity of that adrenal response isn't as high. Then you won't even notice the symptoms. You want thinking techniques for keeping worries that trigger this anxiety to a minimum, and a technique to give you a way to instantly reduce anxiety down when you're on the go and want to keep enjoying your experience. And you need a set of steps that walk your brain through the experience of the feeling of being lightheaded or faint and seeing that it equalizes out and you're fine. And the experience of going into the situations and activities you might have been avoiding due to the fear of fainting, but in a particular way that helps rather than hinders. Situations like driving, public speaking, or just generally being in public. Work through that and I guarantee it won't be a bother for you anymore. If you want a resource to get you started, grab my Anxiety Reducer Guide, completely free. It'll get you going on reducing your adrenal baseline. Hope you found this helpful. If you have, please share it with someone who might get use out of it. These kind of videos can be remarkably hard to find even when people are looking for them. So do them a favor and be that amazing font of wisdom friend. Keep being awesome.